Hello, my name is Ernesto Alaniz, and I'm the pastor at Flint City Church. Welcome to our lesson on savings in our series, God and Money. We're trying to talk to our people and anyone interested in learning about these principles about just being, honestly, trying to take God's wisdom and apply it to our personal finances. And if we do this, if we live by God's wisdom in our personal finances, we can live a life that is not stressful and scary and full of just unmet desire. Instead, live a life that is satisfying, that is content and grateful, and that is free of a lot of the stress most Americans live under. We've talked about budget. We talked about budgeting our income. We talked about debt and what debt is. Today we talk about savings. Savings. Savings is simply savings is when you have money you made and you didn't spend it, and you put it aside for the future. You save it. This is a crazy idea in America. In America, we live hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. When I get money, I spend money. That's the American way. If money, all these phrases, money burns a hole in our pocket. That's how we do things. Many of us, here's the question. Let's say you're living hand to mouth. Paycheck to paycheck. Just enough to pay your bills. No margin in your life. And all of a sudden something happens. Oh man, one of my tires is bad. Oh man, my furnace just blew up. Oh man, a freaking tree fell on my house. Something happens. Man, for me, my voice blew up and I've been to the doctors figuring out my voice stuff for a while. Every time I go to the doctor, it cost me like a bunch of cash money to go to the doctor. What do I do when when something unexpected happens? For most Americans, our emergency fund is either a credit card or a family member. So either I got to go into debt to solve the problem or borrow money from a family member to solve the problem. That is our solution for most of us because we have nothing to fall back on. If you had money in savings, if you had that emergency fund, something bad happened, instead of being like, oh no, I'm in trouble. What are we gonna do? You'd go, man, I'm glad I saved that money, for the last 4 months to take care of this emergency that's happening right now in my life. Now, talk about God's view of savings. We go to Proverbs 21. Proverbs 20. Proverbs 21:26. I can't read my own writing. Proverbs 21:20. I can't read my own writing. I'm pretty sure it's Proverbs 21:20. It reads this way. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fool gulps them down. The wise stores up choice food and olive oil, but the fool gulps them down. One more time. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fool gulps them down. Here's our first principle. It is foolish to use all your resources immediately. It is a foolish thing to burn every resource you got the moment it falls into your hand. It's not a wise way to live. It's not wise that whenever I have something, I immediately burn it up and have nothing left over. This is not a good way to live. This is an unwise way to live. The fool, it says the fool gulps everything down immediately, but the wise, they store up food. The wise stores up olive oil in preparation for tomorrow. The fool, it is foolish to use all our resources immediately. I'll say it one more. I'll say it a little harder than this. It is foolish to live paycheck to paycheck. It is foolish to live hand to mouth. It is unwise to live this way. And some of you might say, well, easy for you to say, Pastor Nesto. You know, how am I? You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what it's like to live on my paycheck. Don't assume. Listen, I'm not trying to speak to you as someone born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I grew up in the city of Flint. I grew up on the east side. I grew up poor, okay? I grew up behind the eight ball. I had to learn all these biblical principles of finance after the fact, okay? I learned every lesson. I learned the hard way because I had no one to teach me a good thing. I don't say this to you as someone judging you. I say it to someone who has been the fool, who has been unwise. I have lived the American financial way, and it is a crushing, awful, life-sucking way to live. God's way is better. God's way is better, and God's way tells us it is foolish to live hand to mouth. It is foolish to have every dollar you make already spoken for before the money's even in your account. And listen, it's not this mentality is not just a poverty mentality either. I know people who work at GM. I know couples who husband and wife both work good jobs, bringing home $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year, and these people bringing down this big money of 100 G's a year are still living hand to mouth because it's not what you make, it's what you spend. We start off at a certain wage. I get a raise, and what do? I bring more into my life. I get a better car with a higher payment. Every time I make more money, I add more things to my life that pull my resources out of me. If you have the poverty mindset of spending every dollar you get, it will follow you if you're middle class, it'll follow if you're upper middle class, it will follow you if you're rich. Seriously, you know these NFL stars who literally make millions of dollars, these celebrities and movie stars who make $15 million on one movie, or over the course of a career make, millions of dollars. And they're broke and they're bankrupt. They go to jail for tax evasion. That poverty mentality lives and it will eat you up no matter how much money you make. It is a foolish thing to live hand to mouth. That's not a good way to live. A good way to live, a wise way to live, is to save for the future. That is a wise way to live, to prepare for tomorrow. I'm recording this in November of 2020. And Michigan has just entered into a 3-week pause. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The coronavirus is on fire all around us. And people have once again made runs on the stores. You can't find toilet paper. You can't find hand wipes. People are buying this stuff and holding it in their pantries, in their basements. But here's the deal. Before this virus ever hit, my family, we had non-perishable foods, and we had it stacked deep in our pantry. We have beans and rice in our basement, and they're there just in case, what if there's a major storm and we can't get out of our neighborhood for a while? We have this, we just have this preparation in case, and honestly what's crazy is we lived prepared for emergency. When I got coronavirus in March, we didn't leave our house. We did not leave our house for 3 weeks. And we had enough food in our pantry to survive that 3 weeks very easy. We had enough rice, beans, and potatoes to make it through. We were prepared for that future danger, that present danger, if you will. It is wise to prepare for the future. Listen, debt is leveraging future earnings for present pleasure. Savings the opposite, though. If you go into debt to have fun now, future you is going to hate present you. Like future you's like, man, why'd you spend all that money, fool? And present you's like, I'm sorry. But I'm currently 40 years old. I'm going to tell you someone I love so much. I love Pastor Ernesto. Pastor Ernesto is my boy because Pastor Ernesto put money aside. He put money aside, so now that I'm 40, 10 years later, President Ernesto, present me has no debt and money saved for emergencies if bad things happen. I'm giving past Ernesto high fives like, man, you the man, past Ernesto. Straight up. Because past Ernesto look to the future, I gotta reap the benefits of past Ernesto's wisdom. Savings is setting your future self up for a win. You're not hurting future Ernesto, you're helping future yourself. I'll stop saying Ernesto. Debt hurts your future self. Saving is helping, is setting up your future self for victory. It's wise. It is wise to save for the future. Now, a lot of you say, well, listen, you don't know my financial struggles. You're right. I do not know your financial struggles. And you don't know mine. You don't know mine. Even when my wife and I were making $24,000 a year, both of us working full time, we're barely making it. Even then, we tightened our belt so much that we were putting a little bit in the savings every single paycheck. It wasn't much. Maybe it was $15 per paycheck. Maybe it was 10. We were always putting some money aside because we knew we would need this for the future. And we had to make decisions. We had to about budgeting, about creating margin. For us, creating margin meant we had to not do certain things. For us, it meant we made cheaper meals at home. It meant you didn't go to eat all the time. It meant I didn't buy nice clothes. There's a reason I wear gray shirts every day of my life. They cost $4.95 at Walmart, and I love these t-shirts. It's what it is. We chose in our early marriage, we didn't have internet. We didn't have it. Didn't have cable. How'd you survive? We didn't need it. It's not a necessity. Not a necessity. We had to let that go. So we put some money aside so that when the bad things happened, we could survive it. Not just the bad things, but the good things too. We saved up. I remember my wife and I never had a house. We couldn't afford a house. We saved up for years. We were married for like 10 years when we first bought our first house, and we had enough money saved to put the down payment on that house. What a day that was. To own a home. I never thought I'd own a home my whole life. I put down payment on a house, and we moved into this house. We lived there, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I don't know how small you need to start. $10 a paycheck, $25 a paycheck. But you need to create some margin so you can begin to have some savings in your life. Because savings is going to be, it's not just there for emergency fund, it's also there for generosity. Imagine if you, walking through life, you meet someone and God puts in your heart, help that person. Like, I want to help them, but I'm not financially able to. When you save money, when you have money set aside just over here chilling, and you meet someone and God puts in your heart to help them, you can be like, you know what? I have some money in savings. I'm going to invest in this kingdom opportunity. Or this family goes through a hard time, I'm going to give so the family can have some burden relieved. It allows you to be generous. It allows you to dream dreams. It allows you to take the hits that everyone takes in this life. Saving is a good thing. Saving is a wise thing. Most Americans have very little in savings. Very little. Now, I'm not going to give you numbers. There's a lot of money gurus out there who give numbers. One of the most common I've heard is if let's say you want to save, you want to get an initial savings account, you want to save some money. Do you save forever? How much? What do you save? I've heard some people say your first goal should be like $1,000 in savings. I first heard that, I'm like, it's crazy. Who has $1,000 in savings? But even if you put $25 a week aside, it's $100 a month. In 10 months, you'd have a G-bar in savings. Sorry, not a G-bar, $1,000. That's a little bit forgive my vernacular. Even if it's $10 a week, a paycheck, that's $40. In 20 months, you're almost to $1,000. You want to have some money in savings as an emergency fund. Just to start off, emergency fund is a good first step. Well, then you start saving for things. You might save to buy something nice. You might save for a car. You might save for a fridge. You might save for a vacation. You learn to save for the things you value. You don't put it on plastic. You don't borrow the money. You are saving for the things you want to do. So when you do those things, there is no debt attached to them. You have done them. They're paid for. You can enjoy them freely without the burden or fear of how much it's costing you, because you have saved hard to enjoy whatever it is you want to enjoy. Saving is a wise thing to do. It's a tough thing. It's hard to learn. Once you learn to do it, it is a good thing. You put that money in savings, you don't touch it. You're going to have to reorganize your life and say, what needs to go? What needs to shrink? Man, my out-to-eat budget's way too much. My Starbucks budget's way too much. I had a family I helped with their budget once. $400 a month went to smoking because both the husband and wife both smoke cigarettes. You got to change sometimes to live the way you want to live. Saving's a good thing. And it's not an impossible thing. I made $24,000 a year my first 2 years of marriage. Not me, our household made $24,000 a year. They paid me like badly, the church did. What are you going to do? I thank God I learned to have faith, I learned to trust him, and I learned a lot of hard lessons with not a lot of resources that became the foundation to my life. I hope you will hear these words and think hard. Here's your homework. How much do you have in savings? How much do you currently have in savings? 2. How much can you put away to savings every paycheck? How much are you going to put aside every single week to savings? Me personally, it is a digital deposit. So my paycheck comes into my account, and some money goes directly to my savings every single check automatically. I don't even see it. I don't even miss it. It just goes away. How much are you going to give to your savings account? And 3, what do you want to save for? What do you need in your life right now that you want to save for? My wife and I, our driveway's jacked, so I'm saving for next year. When the spring comes, I'm saving to redo the driveway. I know it's a certain cost. I know how much it costs, and we're saving towards that. It's not a urgent need, but it's something I got to take care of, and I want to do it. I want to do it because I want to put a basketball hoop. I want to play a dribble. I know it's so broken up, you can't dribble a basketball, but I want to get it nice and flat so my kids and I can play basketball next summer. I'll be like, from downtown, baby, skabloosh. Not really, I'm terrible at basketball. But it's fun to think, it's fun to dream. Anyway, what do you need to save for? What are you saving for? So, the fool spends everything they get. It is foolish to use all your resources as soon as you get them. It is wise to store, to save money for the future. It is a wise thing to do. So let us be wise as followers of Christ. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again next week. God bless you.